Good evening and welcome to our meeting today, and I'd like to call to order the closed session portion of our meeting at this time, and I will ask our legal counsel to please read us into closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There are three items on closed session. The first is a conference with real property negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8 regarding the property located at 255 South Leland Norton Way, Suite Number 1, San Bernardino, California 92408. The second item is pending litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9A regarding the case entitled Franco versus San Bernardino International Airport Authority, San Bernardino County Superior Court case number, and I won't read the number, but it's listed in the program or in the agenda. And the third item is pending litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9A. The commission will meet with the CEO and legal counsel related to Lee versus San Bernardino International Airport Authority, also San Bernardino County Superior Court case.
Thank you. We will now adjourn into closed session and reconvene shortly. Thank you. Okay, we will reconvene, and I will ask our legal counsel to read us out of closed session, please.
Thank you, sir. Regarding all three items in closed session, there was no reportable action taken. Direction was given.
Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to call to order the open session of the San Bernardino International Port Authority. Today is Wednesday, February the 26th, 2025, and it is approximately 5:21 p.m. Madam Clerk, would you please do roll call?
Yes, certainly. If you can please state your name for the record. Members from the City of Colton.
Frank Navarro.
Member from the City of Loma Linda.
Dusty Rigsby.
Member from the County of San Bernardino 5th District.
Baca Jr. present.
Member from the City of Highland.
Penny Loburn with alternate Larry McKellen in the audience, and our new city council member as of last week, Jimmy Saldano.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And members from the City of San Bernardino.
Theodore Sanchez, here.
And Fred Charette filling in for my colleague Kim Canas.
Thank you so much. And I'd also like to note that member John Echevarria is also in the audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This time I will ask Kat Pritchett to lead us in the pledge.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Join with me and thank you. Our beautiful. I wasn't ready for this. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Here to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, Kat.
Thank you, Ms. Pritchett. Madam Clerk, any items to be added or deleted from this agenda?
No, sir, not at this time.
Okay, going on to item F, conflict of interest. Any commissioners have conflict of interest to disclose? Hearing none, seeing none, we move on to item G, informational items. Mr. Burrows, please.
So I'm going to hand off to Mr. Galvin to give you a report on our recent tabletop exercise. John?
Thank you, Mike. As you know, SPD is regulated under the FAA Regulation Part 139. This requires that we have an airport emergency plan in place, and part of that requirement is to test this plan at a minimum of once a year. We do so through what's called a tabletop. The tabletop is typically where an incident scenario is presented to those involved that would typically arrive to as a first responder. They come together to discuss how they would address such an incident. This year we held our tabletop here in the auditorium a week ago. Through a well thought out scenario, along with an element of chance by a roll of dice to keep things interesting, the tabletop was a great success. I'm pleased to report that it was by far the best attended tabletop we've had to date, and arguably the most interaction we've had during such an event. It was extremely fruitful. I'd like to give a big thanks to our partners at SBPD, San Bernardino County Fire, our tenants and stakeholders, our tabletop planning team, and especially a big thank you to our airport ops manager, Andres Zapata, for leading the coordination and planning, and airport ops officer, Brandon Knight, who did a fantastic job leading the tabletop last week.
Comments, questions? Penny?
None.
Your lights on?
Sorry.
Still on. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Jonathan.
Last but not least, Mr. Cousineau on an audit that should come before you soon.
We certainly hope so. Thank you, Mike. The audit continues. We just submitted our management discussion analysis today for the auditors to go through their various review steps on that. And the last few outstanding items are related to internal control findings that we're preparing our responses. And there's none of them that I think are going to reach even a significant deficiency in internal control, which would be like the second tier. They're all, to us, very minor. So we expect most of these to wash through when we complete our responses. And that concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions on the audit.
Comments or questions of our finance director? None? Hearing none. Mr. Cousineau, thank you very much.
That concludes our reports.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item H. These are commission consent items, and I present items 3 through 8.
Baca moves. Second.
Baca moves, second by Rigsby. Madam Clerk?
Thank you. We have a motion by Member Baca and a second by Member Rigsby. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Baca? Member Charette?
Yes.
And Member Sanchez?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item I, Commission action items, and item number 9 is to adopt resolutions of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority in recognition of the services of the County of San Bernardino and the City of San Bernardino. Mr. Burrows, if you would, please.
I'm going to actually hand that over to our clerk of the board, Jillian, and she will be bringing up each reso with a little bit of background. We didn't want to clutter your dais, sorry.
2 for Helen Tran, for 1 for IDDA, and 1 for SBIAA, and I'll get another one from Route right now. Okay. Thank you, sir. Here's some background on Helen.
Okay. The first,
So if you wouldn't mind just acknowledging the recipients. Yeah, thank you.
yes, I'm going to read them.
Oh, wonderful, even better.
No. The first resolution, of course, is for Mayor Helen Trent from the City of San Bernardino. And Mayor, it's just a pleasure to do this for, an honor to do this for, and it's been a pleasure having you sitting up here on this dais. I think you were here, what, 2 years, 3 years? Yes. And hopefully we can see you again in the future, okay? So if you come up, I'll present your resolution to you. Thank you. You will certainly be missed on this dais, but we look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't go away. The other resolution, that was for Sabia, okay? The other resolution that we have is from the IVDA, the Inland Valley Development Agency. Again, thank you very much for your service to this agency, okay? Ooh.
Double whammy.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Our supervisor, Don Rao, is out in county business, and it's always a pleasure to recognize anybody that steps up to serve on this agency boards. And this one is for the San Bernardino International Airport, and we will see that we deliver this to the supervisor, okay? And again, thanks to her for being part of this agency and for bringing her experience and her leadership to it. Thank you.
And then we have one last one.
Well, that's right. I'm sorry.
That isn't in front of you. We'll get it to you here shortly.
Yeah,
this one was a surprise.
We had to go very far and wide for this one, huh?
We did. We had to do our homework. And our very own Councilmember Sanchez recognized that we neglected to get an outgoing reso for him under his prior service. And tradition is tradition, and we take it seriously. And thank you for letting us know about that.
So really, so not only are we doing a resolution for him, but I also want to recognize the fact that he needs to understand that we have to go far and wide to get the gold, to present the gold seal. Theodore, thank you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You gotta get that.
Get mine in there. You guys are excellent.
Thanks.
No, don't ask him for a speech, please. Okay. Moving on to item number 10.
Real quick, sir, sorry, we do need a motion on that as they are
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
resolutions.
We need to adopt the resolutions. Moved by who? Baca moves. Who's going to get it? Fred?
Fred, second.
Okay, Fred, second. You get it?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have a motion by Member Baca and a second by Member Charette. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro.
Yes.
Member Lilburn.
Yes.
Member Rigsby.
Yes.
Member Baca.
Buckeye.
Member Charette.
Yes.
And Member Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we can go on to item 10, and this is to consider and adopt proposed budget adjustments for fiscal year 2024 and 2025. Mr. Cosino, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This action is to approve budget adjustments of expenses in excess of revenues of an amount of $52,000. Luxavere SBD revenue is anticipated to decrease by $13,000 from the sale of food and drink at Leland's Cafe at the domestic terminal. And the uses include $65,000 increase in legal and litigation services within Budget Class 52 contractual services to support tenant disputes and increased claims activity. There's a net $0 change at Luxavere SBD that's comprised of a $20,000 decrease in Budget Class 57, other expenses and expenditures via transfer to support two increases in line items, Budget Class 43 and Budget Class 52. Budget Class 43 is for cost of goods sold for inventory to sell at Luxavere operation of Leland's Cafe, and Budget Class 52 is contractual services for the contract operator at Leland's Cafe. And that concludes my report. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from commissioners on this item? Do we have any public comment on this item, Madam Clerk?
No, sir, we do not.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, the vote, please.
Baca moves.
Baca moves.
Second.
Second, Rigsby.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion by Member Baca and a second by Member Rigsby. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Baca?
Baca aye.
Member Charette?
Yes.
And Member Sanchez?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 11, this is to approve amendment number 3 with CNA janitorial services in the amount not to exceed $49,000 for a total revised contract amount not to exceed $470,743 during the first year option term. Mr. Galvan, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This item comes in as an amendment number 3 to our existing contract with CNA Janitorial to provide janitorial services to various SBIAA facilities. The contract is a 3-year agreement with 2 1-year option extensions. We are currently exercising the first year extension option. For background, amendment number 1 was authorized to include services at the UAS Training Center in 2021, and amendment number 2 was for services added to the terminal in 2022 for passenger services. It's noteworthy that annual increases were factored into the original contract. However, due to the state's minimum wage increase, along with increasing supply costs, amendment number 3 would increase the contract cost by $49,000 to a total revised contract not to exceed $470,743 during the first year option. Staff recommends the commission approve this item and all related documents. I can take any questions at this time.
Thank you. Questions, comments from commissioners?
Move it.
Moved by Rigsby,
I'll second.
second by Lilburn.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion by Member Rigsby and a second by Member Lilburn. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Baca?
Baca aye.
Member Charette?
Yes.
And Member Sanchez?
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 12, approve amendment number 1 to the amended and restated land lease agreement with Ashley Furniture Industries LLC for approximately 11.98 acres of property. Mr. Darrell Hale, please.
Good evening. Yes, for board approval, submitting for amendment number 1 to the amended and restated land lease agreement with Ashley Furniture Industries LLC for approximately 11.98 acres of property. To summarize, on June 1st, 2024, SBIAA and Ashley entered into a long-term land lease agreement for approximately 11.98 acres of land north of the San Bernardino International Airport for development of an off-site parking facility. All design, engineering, and entitlement work has been completed. However, due to significant cost escalations encountered during construction, certain updates are needed to make the business terms workable for both parties. We recommend that approve this lease amendment and authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute all related documents subject to technical and conforming changes as approved by Council. Fiscal impact, no fiscal impact this fiscal year. We estimate a $246,173 increase over the next 12 months as estimated revenues for the Airport Authority fiscal year 2025-26. Budget in the Development and Properties Department. Budget Class 44, land and non-terminal facility leases and license revenue. Some more background information. Due to significant cost escalations encountered during construction related to concrete debris discovered during rough grading phase, certain updates are needed to make the business terms workable for both parties. The unforeseen conditions have resulted in a need for Ashley to halt grading, bring in a crushing operation on site, and regrade a substantial portion of the property. This resulted in an increase in Ashley's project costs of over $600,000. As a result, the parties now propose to amend the initial lease term from 12 years to 15 years to allow for additional capitalization of lessee's premises, improvements, and stabilize lease revenues to SBIAA. The principal lease terms and conditions of the proposed amendment are as follows. Premises, again, 11.98 acres, lease term 15 years. However, we'll have 3% annual fixed lease increases, security deposit, 2 months rent upon execution of lease, monthly lease revenues of $20,514. Ashley to construct an off-site parking facility at its sole cost and expense pursuant to the City of San Bernardino Development Code requirements. Upon completion of lessee's premises improvements, SBIAA to provide a rent credit based on the actual verified construction costs in an amount not to exceed $7.5 million amortized over the initial lease term. Effective in year 10 of the lease, SBIAA shall retain a limited right to recapture use of the premises for airport purposes, subject to remittance to Ashley of the then unamortized value of the cost of the improvements. Ashley to maintain all portions of the premises and pay all applicable utility charges, electrical, water, and sewer. Ashley to pay all possessory interest taxes and maintain commercial general liability and fire insurance coverage, naming SBIAA as an additional insured. Ashley to comply with all applicable laws, airport, FAA, and local rules and regulations. Upon termination of the lease, all improvements shall revert to SBIAA ownership. Ashley has obtained all required development permits from the City of San Bernardino and is continuing its construction work with an estimated completion date sometime this summer of this year. As proposed, amended and restated lease would generate over $7.2 million in revenue over the term. Staff recommends the Commission approve the above recommended action. And that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you, sir. Comments or questions from commissioners?
Move to approve.
Second.
Sanchez moves to approve, second by Rigsby. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, sir. We have a motion by Member Sanchez and a second by Member Rigsby. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Baca?
Aye.
Member Charette?
Yes.
And Member Sanchez?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 13. This is the Rio Status Action Report. Mr. Burrows, please.
Just want to thank the commission and our alternate members for showing up a little bit early today and joining us for a nice little drive around the airport. It's a great suggestion, and we would love to do it soon again. Just want to thank you for your time. Also acknowledging our newest commission members and their earlier attendance to be able to onboard their new member orientation. So appreciate that, Supervisor, and the council member as well for making those plans in your busy schedule for us. Next month, we hope to have, which is normal for us, a legislative update for you. We think we're going to know where our grants are in queue. We've been in regular discussion with the FAA because they are what we call entitlement funds. We've been tracking those very closely. Mr. Gibbs and Mr. Galvin just had a discussion late yesterday with FAA and the new projects that are on queue that you all have looked at and have authorized for bid. Look like we are able to proceed this year, but certainly we'll keep you apprised if any changes on that. One last thing is the new Nonstop to Provo did launch in February. And we're seeing really good success and utilization. It looks to be pretty popular, and Breeze is very pleased with the outcome thus far. So thank you for your support of that. And that concludes our report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Burrows. Comments from commissioners at this time?
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank Mr. Burrows for giving us the tour of the airport. It kind of enlightened me on some of the activities that go on. I mean, just looking at the item that we passed on item 12 with Ashley Furniture, I think it's a good thing for $250,000 for the next 12 to 15 years. I think those are great things. But one of the things hopefully we can begin to do as a board is try to figure out what does Sabia look like in 2040? What does it look like in 2050? I think we need to have those discussions on how we could make it a more attractive place. I think it's good for the city of San Bernardino, good for the region. I know that, we've been monitoring Breeze, and hopefully that continues to go, and we start looking at potentially, international travel, which we think is important, especially based on the demographics here in this community. We think international travel would go well, especially when many folks have to go to Ontario and Los Angeles. And we know that we don't have as large a footprint as those two sites, but for the size that we have, I believe that we can do a lot more. And I think seeing some of the things that go on here, the average person has no idea some of these quirky little businesses that are here, but they provide a valuable resource for the airport. But I just want to keep in mind, I know we're looking at grants and things that we're kind of chipping away at here, but I'd like to see what this airport would look like in 2040 and really have a vision for this board to really take that next plateau.
Thank you, Supervisor. Ms. Loomer.
I had a question. One, I want to say thank you for the socks because my last pair, my boyfriend immediately swiped them. So I have my own now. And thank you for the tour. Did I see on Facebook that the airport's hosting another concert?
If you did, we haven't announced it, so I'm not sure about that one. Have you done one I haven't known about? No. Yeah, we
Okay.
have not announced the concert yet.
Okay.
We would like to do another one, but we haven't
Okay.
figured that out.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Public comment on this? Anything?
No, sir, no public comment.
Thank you, I figured that much. Okay, there being no other business to attend to for the commission, this meeting is now adjourned. Our next meeting, Wednesday, March the 26th. Same place, same time.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Done deal. Thanks, Frank.